Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. With Grounded 2 about to hit early access on the 29th of July, it got me thinking, is it worth going back to Grounded 1? Especially if you never gave it a proper go first time round, or maybe you dabbled but didn't stick with it. Should you play it now to get some context before the sequel? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore in today's review. Quick heads up before we do begin. Any discussion or footage involving spiders, I'll be putting it into its own clearly labelled chapter. I know arachnophobia is no joke for some people, and I want everyone to be able to enjoy this video without needing to stress. Alright, let's dive in. So, what instantly drew me to Grounded? Two things really. First, I'm a massive craft survival fan. Games like Valheim, The Forest, Green Hell, love them. Second, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was one of my favourite childhood movies growing up. I must have watched that film multiple times every year. The idea of being ant-sized and having to survive in a normal suburban garden, that hits a nostalgia sweet spot I didn't realise I even had. Now, for those unfamiliar, Grounded is a survival action-adventure co-op developed by Obsidian Entertainment. Yes, the same studio behind Pillars of Eternity and The Outer World. Stay tuned for one of those games to be reviewed in the near future. It's available on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 5 and PC via the Steam or Microsoft Store. It's also in Game Pass, which is how I first got into it during the early access stage. You play as one of 4 teens who mysteriously been shrunk down and dumped into the garden. You've got to survive using the environment around you, gathering resources, crafting tools, building a base, and slowly uncovering what the heck happened to you. And let me tell you, despite the cartoony visuals, the game has horror undertones. You might think, oh, cute garden, ladybugs, dandelions, until the big scaries drop out of nowhere and attack you. Going into Grounded, I wasn't quite sure how I'd feel about the tone. Coming straight off games like Valheim and Green Hell, which are a lot grittier and darker, Grounded looked almost childish in comparison. But my first standout thought after playing, when's my next session? That's when you know a craft survival game is doing something right. It starts living in your head. You start mentally redesigning your base, thinking about where to place storage chests, the endless loop of, wait, where's this? And where's that? I still remember us constantly reorganizing in Valheim until one day we did the great reorg. But Grounded actually fixes that with shared inventory. And who's this game for? Honestly, everyone. Unlike Green Hell, which can be brutal if you take a break, Grounded is friendly enough to put down and jump back in after a few weeks, and not feel completely lost. I played it in early access, and again on full release. And it's one of those rare survival games that caters to both casuals and hardcore fans of the genre. So what's the core loop here? You and up to 3 friends have to survive the hostile garden. Everything's out to get you. Ants, bees, mosquitoes, and yes, even the big scaries. We'll talk about them later. You'll craft weapons from plant fibres, clover leaves, acorns, and bug parts. You'll scavenge, craft, survive, and repeat. The controls, really smooth. I played the early access on the Xbox and mostly of the full release on the PS5 using a controller, and despite the usual limitations compared to a mouse and key, the UI felt tailored to console. Inventory management, craft menus, radial wheels, all intuitive and responsive. Now, nothing truly new jumps out in terms of mechanics, but the base building system is clean. You can place blueprint structures before committing resources, which is great for planning. Snapping works well too, and it's a massive improvement since the early access. Here's an old Twitch clip of me trying to align a wall and a door.
I found water.
And there's me going, oh, the snapping's fine. Why wouldn't it snap to the bloody...
I don't know.
Gameplay stays fresh too. You move from one biome to the next, each with new challenges and materials. The sandbox, the pond, the hedge, the barbecue area. Each place feels unique, and you're always adapting. I'll be honest, not everyone I played with was immediately sold, but for me, the moment I dropped in, I was hooked. From the first sunrise peeking through the blades of grass to the moment we finally killed our first stink bug together. The story setup is simple and effective. You wake up in the yard, tiny, confused, and surrounded by danger. There's no long cutscene, no hand-holding, just survive. Soon after, you'll meet Burgle, a charming little robot hidden inside the oak tree, and he becomes your guide. Only problem is, he's missing large parts of his memory, so your job becomes not just survival, but slowly piecing together why you've been shrunk, and how to reverse it. The characters you can play as, Max, Willow, Pete, or Hoops, each have their distinct personalities. I always picked Pete, the nerdy science kid, because I relate. The banter between characters is funny and quirky, occasionally repetitive, sure, but it adds charm. As for the world itself, Grounded absolutely nails immersion. From towering mushrooms to the buzz of gnats overhead, it feels like a real garden, just massive. The sense of scale is perfect. A juice box becomes a landmark. A dropped baseball becomes an obstacle. Story-wise, the lore unfolds through exploration, burgle chips, and dream sequences. It's all baked into the gameplay in a natural way. No heavy exposition dumps, just enough mystery to keep you curious. Alright, let's talk visuals. Yes, at a glance, Grounded looks like a kid's game. Bright colours, cartoonish character design, but don't let that fool you. It's a deeply atmospheric and surprisingly eerie game. The garden is stunning. Each biome, from the sandbox to the pond, feels handcrafted. Lighting is the standout here. The way the sunlight refracts through droplets or casts long shadows at dusk. Beautiful. The day-night cycle adds to tension too. Things change after dark. One small gripe, the dialogue sometimes feel oddly placed. You'll be on the opposite side of the garden and still hear your friend's character like they're whispering in your ear. A walkie-talkie filter would have made more sense. But that aside, animations are smooth and the depth of field effect in the first person is top tier. It generally feels like your vision is adjusting as you move. One of those subtle touches that makes you feel grounded. Yep, I said it. The soundtrack, straight out of an 80s sci-fi movie. It's got that nostalgic electronic feel that really clicks with me. Probably because my parents raised me on Erasure and Spandau Ballet. Sound design is just as good. The rustle of grass, the distinct chirp of the crow, the sudden thud of something moving nearby. It's subtle but effective, and adds to a real layer of tension, especially at night. Voice acting? It's decent. A bit cheesy, but it fits the tone. One small annoyance, the lines about taming bugs loops a bit too often. Like, we get it, Pete, you want to tame an aphid. Performance-wise, Grounded is in a pretty good place. On the PS5 it runs smooth, even with large bases and lots of action. Load times are short, frame rates feel stable. But here's the catch, and for me, it was a huge negative. The game runs on a client host. That means whoever's hosting is also playing, and if their connection is dodgy, everyone suffers. We kept getting disconnected from the host every 15 to 30 minutes. Super frustrating. We tried switching hosts, I was on PS5, the others were on PC, but the issue persisted. Now, I'm not that technically minded, but for those wondering, a client-host server is almost like playing at someone's house and everyone's bringing snacks. Whereas a dedicated server, like renting a hall, hiring a chef, it's more expensive, but everything works. And Grounded really needs that rented hall. The further we progressed and the larger our base got, it seemed to lag out more. A look at Reddit shows we're not alone in this. I hope it's something the devs have addressed with Grounded 2. The main story took us around 30 to 40 hours, but easily we clocked more just messing around with base building and exploration. What's great is the armor system. Different sets give you different bonuses, so you can build a character around your playstyle. Some sets boost health, others improve carry weight, some help you tank hits. If you do like tanking hits, then please hit that like button and consider subscribing for future reviews. Thank you. And yes, there's loads of content, from taming pets to building sky bridges. Reddit is full of incredible base designs that put ours to shame. Now, before the final verdict, this is the big Scaries warning. If you're scared of spiders, please skip ahead. The wolf spiders in Grounded are legit terrifying. The way they move, the sound they make, it's nightmare fuel. They hit hard, poison you, and patrol at night. One early access memory I'll never forget is leaving the anthill and being ambushed by one. Heart stopped. I think my friend even ran out of the room. Thankfully, the devs have included arachnophobia mode, which allows you to turn spiders into less threatening blobs. A thoughtful touch. So, what's the verdict? The good? Stunning, immersive garden world. It's satisfying and accessible gameplay loop and progression and variety. The not so good? Whilst there's not that many, the client-host server nearly ruined the whole experience for us. And a little pet peeve was the repetition of the audio. If I had to sum up Grounded in one sentence, a craft survival, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Who is this game for? Fans of the genre, casual or hardcore, and anyone who's ever imagined what it would be like to explore your garden as an ant. But despite the issues, I am going to give Grounded the rating all-nighter. It's just so addictive. What I want to know is, have you played Grounded? What are your expectations with Grounded 2? Or maybe this review convinced you to try the prequel before the sequel. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories, especially your best or worst bug encounters. And if you enjoyed this review, please hit that like button, subscribe for more honest and weirdly nostalgic game reviews, and share this with your friend who thinks The Forest is the peak of the genre. And if you can't wait, please check out my previous review here. Until next time, stay safe and always carry that extra fiber bandage. You never know when you'll need it.